What's up, guys? Puma with you today in another video on my series, The Best Weapons in Warzone. Today's video, we're going to cover the AK-47. Now, a gun that probably not a whole lot of you have used a ton. Never really considered the meta, at least not so far. But we're going to go into depth on what attachments to use, why to use it, and how you can make this gun the best weapon in Warzone. All right, so let's take a look at the stock AK. 30 round mag, no attachments. We're not going to cancel the recoil. We're just going to look at the recoil pattern. So a lot of kick early on, and then it levels out at the end. A lot of kick in the first 4 or 5. So let's see that again. Pay attention to these first few. Really kicks early on, kind of a reverse C, and then the last half of the mag or so pretty much just goes straight up, but pretty aggressive recoil early on in the mag. Now let's take a look at the 40 round mag. What we would expect with a lot of these ARs and what we've seen is the last, we're going to get an extra 10 rounds on the 40 round mag compared to the 30. Those last 10 rounds should follow the same pattern that the 30, how it ended. So that's what we'll expect from this. But let's look at the 40 round mag on this stock AK. Yes, that's exactly what we saw. Same pattern, and it just has an extra 10 on the end, right? So same, it ends the same way that the 30, or it starts the same way the 30 round mag ends. All right, so with the AK, you're going to find a unique situation with your underbarrel attachment. And what we're going to look at first is a couple of attachments here. The monolithic suppressor. No, I got the wrong one pulled up. No, I don't. I do. Okay, so with the AK, you're going to find a unique situation with the underbarrel attachments. One of the barrels comes with a sort of a grip. It's called the 23-inch Romanian. So what we're going to look at first, we're going to compare those two. So the first loadout that we're looking at is this one, which has your standard 3 long barrel, which for the AK is the 23-inch RPK barrel, monolithic suppressor, and the Commando foregrip. So we're going to look at this first, and then we're going to compare the bullet spread with the Romanian barrel that has a built-in grip. All right, so for side-by-side comparisons, this is what we're testing out now. Monolithic suppressor with the 23-inch Romanian barrel. As you can see here, the underbarrel attachment is not available because this barrel has the built-in grip. So the advantage is that you're going to use 2 attachments to basically do the job of 3. What we're not sure is if it's going to work as well or going to be worth it since you don't get to use the Commando foregrip. So let's look at the recoil. On the left here is the long barrel, the RPK barrel with the Commando foregrip. This is the Romanian barrel with the built-in undergrip. All right, so side by side, you be the judge. I don't know that I can see an enormous difference, so it might be worth checking out. I feel like this one over here has just a tad more vertical, maybe a little bit more horizontal, probably definitely a little bit more horizontal, but not much. Both very good. Considering you can get a free attachment out of this, like maybe a grip, might be worth looking into. And that's called the 23-inch Romanian barrel, which has the built-in grip. Okay, so here's our real-world example, or at least what I like to think of as one. This gun is going to have your 3 needed attachments: the monolithic suppressor, the 23-inch RPK barrel, and the Commando foregrip. Those are really your go-tos. I went ahead and added a GI Mini Reflex. I've really liked that sight lately, and a 40 round mag. Obviously, you can use iron sights or just a different sight. Maybe you don't want the 40 round mag. Maybe you want a rear grip or a stock, something else. But these 3 are needed. We're going to look at a target that's about 40 meters out. We're going to try to actively cancel the recoil, and we're going to see how we do. All right, so not terrible. Let's look at this. This is definitely one of the more aggressive recoil patterns of guns that I've used. Still a pretty good spread. Those are all kill shots. If you're aiming upper torso, if you're aiming head, you're landing a lot of those. Upper torso, you're landing most of them. A lot of kill shots in there. Again, the AK is going to have a good amount of damage that you're dealing. And so the recoil is more aggressive, but it's definitely manageable. Now, before I show you guys the side-by-side comparison with the Romanian barrel, I want to show you one of the things that's the big downside with the AK, and that's longer range. Usually in these videos, I will paint a target like we've got out here. You can't see it very well. It's about 100 or 120 meters away. This is really the limit of where you would want to use an AR if you're trying to kill someone, if you're trying to shoot someone. So I'm going to try to actively cancel the recoil, and I'm going to show you what it's like to use an AK at this range. All right, so now the bullet spray doesn't register that far. Very difficult, very difficult. You can rewind that, watch it again. Extremely difficult to get this gun under control at this range. All right, so here's our secondary comparison loadout that we're going to look at. This one right here. It has the 23-inch Romanian barrel with the built-in underbarrel attachment, monolithic suppressor, 40-round mag. This one also has it's got the sight with it, and it has a rubberized grip tape, which is going to help us out with recoil control as well. So this is going to help us out even more with recoil. I'm actually really eager to see how this one does. Okay, not bad. If you remember how bad we did at range, let's try this one at range. Okay, so not a terrible spread. Here's our spread from the Commando foregrip version. So what I will say about this is it's definitely worth checking out. Again, this is what it looks like. This barrel takes away your underbarrel attachment. It's worth checking out for sure. It allows you to add one more. Very similar stats here to the long barrel, the 23-inch RPK barrel, and the Commando foregrip. This has very similar stats, not quite as good, but it frees up another slot for something else. So it's definitely worth checking out. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. This just in. Actually, this is not a joke. In the process of making this video, I somehow broke my Beats S3 headphones by simply trying to lift them up and put them on. So maybe next we'll do a review of Beats S3s. So it's going to be hard for me to finish this without feeling weird. What I will say about the AK is it can be a very valuable gun. The damage is obviously really good, as we saw from those examples. Long range, 100 meters, 80 meters, those ranges where you would like to be able to use an AR, maybe like pushing the limits of like DMR range, AK is not going to be a really good long range AR. Now medium range, it's definitely very very manageable to control the recoil and get the benefits of that added damage. Now again, the downside is going to be the aggressive recoil pattern that we saw from that. So what I'd like you guys to do is I'm sure you know this, but you can subscribe to my YouTube channel for free. Go ahead and drop a comment if you have a suggestion on how to build an AK. If you like to use the AK and you want to send me, hey, here's the loadout that I use. Here are the attachments that I use. Please feel free to do that. I always enjoy learning, like I did making this video. The Romanian barrel with the built-in underbarrel attachment can be a really, really valuable option. And I might even start running that as opposed to the long barrel with the Commando foregrip. Feel free to follow me on all my socials. Send me a DM there as well. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, you can find me streaming most weeknights on Facebook at fb.gg/armoredpuma17.